Health Science Center in Toronto drilled holes into Plummer's skull and inserted electrodes deep into his brain in an effort to bypass his thirst for whiskey. The born and raised Winnipegger and former head of Canada's National Microbiology Lab is believed to be the first person in North America to undergo the deep brain stimulation. I think it's potentially revolutionary. It's not for everybody, but it's for people like me who've kind of exhausted all other possibilities, Plummer said. So he had been given a liver transplant, and then he had another liver transplant. He kept drinking. He was a serious hardcore drinker, and he's basically saying that this saved his life. How ironic. A couple months later, he's dead. Misery infects virology lab. Deadly pathogens, toxic workplace. Winnipeg researchers producing brilliant science, including the Ebola vaccine, but current former staff reveal litany of problems inside the walls of the high-security, high-pressure federal facility. So this lab in Winnipeg, where the Ebola virus and the Ebola vaccine was discovered. Not the virus discovered, but the Ebola vaccine discovered and patented, has had problems, and apparently it's got problems from management on down. On an October 2016 afternoon, Sky Sewell ran down the corridors of the National Microbiology Lab screaming as senior managers chased her. Drinking, normally known for her style and quick wit, she had been showing up to work in t-shirts and yoga pants, at times smelling of alcohol. 2 months after the breakdown, she died in a coma after stumbling down a flight of stairs. The incident, along with the plunging morale documented in staff surveys, prompted the director of the Public Health Agency of Canada to reach out to local unions and fly in for an urgent meeting with executives, an almost unprecedented move for federal institutions. Yet numerous people who work there have told the Free Press of a workplace rife with intimidation, alcohol abuse, and clashes between officials in Winnipeg and Ottawa, which was partially revealed this summer in an administrative breach that has the RCMP investigating a shipment of dangerous substances to China. Well, we just heard the former director there was an alcoholic up until less than a year ago when he had that surgery. He'd been drinking heavily while he was working there. Not putting it on him or anything. But then we had this investigation by the Winnipeg Free Press talking about the culture of this facility. And this is the facility, the Biosafety Level 4 lab, the only one in Canada, given it handles the most deadly infectious diseases, including Ebola. And this is the one where our Asian girl took the Ebola and ran to China. Here he is here. The lab's first scientific director general, Frank Plummer, said he hadn't come across severe personnel issues during his time at the helm of NML from its opening in 1999 until 2014, but he described the workplace as ambitious, staff clustered around stressful projects. Numerous workers at the lab say they fear a repeat of the Seoul situation. A manager at the NML overseeing high-risk projects such as Ebola research was put on leave last winter after showing up smelling of alcohol and at one point interrupting a teleconference meeting. The employee returned to work in May and was effectively put on library duties instead of previous normal work within the lab. before being put on leave a month later. More than a year ago, one employee threatened to commit suicide at the lab to send a message to superiors. Pana said senior managers responded quickly when they became aware of the threat, and the Free Press has confirmed that the individual is now receiving help. So you can see this lab is, there's the Gary Kobinger. He discovered the Ebola vaccine with our girl right here, Xiangguo Qiu, the Chinese woman that took the virus to China. However, there have been times when Winnipeg staff have felt under the gun from Ottawa, such as this summer's explosive news that Xiangguo Qiu, a biologist from China, had been ushered out of the lab. And she discovered the Ebola vaccine with Dr. Kobinger here. My Twitter brother here, Greg Scott84, he did a great thread on Canada, China, and the coronavirus. And part of the thread, when it runs here, there's our doctor there. There's Plummer. May 19th, 2013, CBC confirmed the virus was sent to the NML. The Saudi sample, Dr. Plummer said they were unable to share it with the other researchers because of Dutch restrictions. The Saudi researcher who sent the sample to the Erasmus was fired. Dr. Plummer ended his 14-year tenure head of the National Microbiology Laboratory in March, and that was in 2014, shortly after he had received the virus. Here she is here. Dr. Qiu and her co-worker worked for MabWorks. They insist they did nothing wrong, untowards, by giving the Ebola vaccine over to the Chinese authorities. Canadian Ebola drug inventors worked with the Chinese firm, but it was also blah, 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 blah. And here she's being given an order of Canada for science by the Governor General. So she's a player. This one's a player here. And this was the Globe and Mail reporting on Canada's National Lab gets the sample of a new SARS-like virus planning studies. And this was reported in 2013, May 2013. Canada's National Microlab in Winnipeg has a sample of a new coronavirus that is causing infections in a number of countries, most notably Saudi Arabia. Scientific Director Dr. Frank Plummer says the lab obtained the virus from the Erasmus Medical Center in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. The Dutch lab was the one that first identified the new virus last June in a sample from a Saudi man who had died of a mysterious illness. Plummer says the coronavirus arrived at the Winnipeg facility on May 4th. He says the lab is growing up stocks of the virus and will use it to assess the diagnostic tests being used in Canada. And here's the story where Plummer is ending his 14-year stint as Canada's National Microlab Director. Microbiology Director leaves post at Winnipeg Lab. May 1st, 2014. He received the virus on May 2013, and here he comes to an end here. Dr. Frank Plummer ended his 14-year tenure as head of the National Microlab in March. Plummer is one of the world's top HIV researchers, and in 2005 he was awarded Grand Challenges Grant for $8.3 million from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to continue his work. Dr. Frank Plummer ends his 14-year award-winning career with the Level 4 Virology Containment Facility in Winnipeg. Dr. Plummer stepped down for personal reasons, alcohol, says Taylor. Dr. Plummer has had an outstanding career in building the lab, and we are thrilled and delighted in the work he has done, but his life changed and he is moving on. And then they had him quoted when the coronavirus scandal hit the lab. And now he's dead. So, that's the next phase of this story. Talking about Bill and Melinda Gates in my next video. And we're going to continue to see the fallout of Dr. Plummer here. Was he assassinated? Did he know too much? Who knows? But it's still a story. And I sent Greg here a message this afternoon telling him if he was not aware that Dr. Plummer had passed away. So, in the meantime, please follow this story with me, and I look forward to giving you a couple of more videos, follow-ups on this coronavirus. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Definitely comment down below. Thanks for watching, listening. That's Mark at Global Agenda. Greg, good job, buddy. Out. As this whole coronavirus here in Canada looks like it's turned into a total can of whip-ass. In the meantime, I want to leave this link with you. I'm leaving this in the description box, okay? Boyle charges U.S. germ warfare program is criminal enterprise by Sherwood Ross. So this is the gentleman, Francis A. Boyle, that I'll be covering in my video. And I'm leaving this link to you because he told us that we have to go and read this interview, and that's what I'm doing. But for you to get further researched on it, I'm leaving you this link, and you can go and read it. And I would say read it before you come back and watch my follow-up videos that I will be uploading in the next day or two. Okay? So I'm going to leave you some homework. In the meantime, please like, share, and comment, and we'll see you soon on Global Agenda. Have a great day. We are on to further investigate this rabbit hole. Dr. Frank Plummer. Rest in peace. That's Mark out.